Fox Sports.
We are Blackboard. We are Wisconsin.
Game night again at Miller Park. Finally, after a long road trip, a successful road trip, the Brewers welcome in the Toronto Blue Jays. Jay Happ on the mound for the Blue Jays tonight. He'll match up against Mike Fiers. Both pitchers going along very well in their last few starts. And hi, everybody. We welcome you from Miller Park. Look who's back. Phil Schroeder and his famous finger. You okay, buddy?
Yep, there it is. All good. All
you
good.
look good. We missed you.
Thanks for everybody filling in, especially you. A lot of extra work you had to do, but I appreciate it.
Well, it's great to have you back. Now we move on in our normal capacity, right? Bill Schroeder's back where he belongs. And let's talk about Mike Fiers a little bit. And I know you were gone that game, but you certainly watched that game. And Mike Fiers did something that very few Brewers have ever done.
Yeah, 14 strikeouts in 6 innings. I mean, he got his pitch count up there a little bit because of all those strikeouts. But, Mike Fiers picking up right where he left off down in the minor leagues. I mean, he was unhittable down in AAA. He has taken that into the big leagues. 2 starts, outstanding. Since he's been with the Brewers this year, 5 walks, all the strikeouts. He had 14 last time up. And you can see what he was able to do. Get ahead in the count and have these Cubs chase high fastballs. High fastballs, curveballs down there on the ankles. And when he throws that curveball for strikes, that's when he's most effective. That's what he has to do tonight. These Blue Jays, they can hit some home runs.
Well, some of the superlatives with Mike Fiers, the 6th MLB pitcher with 14 Ks this year. Most road strikeouts in Brewers franchise history. And he is up there with Gallardo and Moose Haas, for the 2nd most strikeouts in franchise history. Ben Sheets had an 18 strikeout game. And the first Brewers pitcher ever with 14 Ks and 0 earned runs. It was an historic day at Wrigley Field, but now it's time to move on. Next up, the Toronto Blue Jays. Interleague Baseball. Craig and Davey will break down the Jays when we continue.
On Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. By Miller Lite, now in the original can, it's Miller time. By Toyota, let's go places. And by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Back in beautiful downtown Milwaukee, where the Brewers open up play in first place on this August 19th. All but 4 days this team has been in first place during the baseball season, facing the Blue Jays here tonight. And Davey, this is the second interleague series between these two teams. They met back on July 1st and 2nd in Toronto. Back then, both teams were in first place. Both teams have gone 19-22 since, but while the Brewers have stayed in first, the Jays lost their one-game lead and are now 8 back in the AL East. Pitching has been a huge storyline.
Well, exactly right. The pitching, but Brewers have gone skyrocketed. I mean, they've just been getting some outstanding pitching from their rotation. Not so good from the Toronto Blue Jays. Their rotation has not pitched well and has not been able to do the job.
Yeah, just in the last 5 games alone, the Blue Jays have given up 27 earned runs. The Brewers, of course, with Mike Fiers, for example, going tonight, have filled in very nicely, going for one more win as they hope to keep that train on the tracks from their road success to the start of a new homestand.
Ball. The roof is open, 75 degrees, and we're ready for interleague baseball tonight. The Brewers and the Blue Jays. Brian Anderson and Bill Schroeder, Sophia Minute, our reporter tonight. The Brewers come into this game 2.5 up on the Cardinals, 2 games ahead in the loss column. St. Louis is playing tonight. We'll be keeping track of the Cardinals score this evening. And there's John Gibbons and the Toronto Blue Jays back at Miller Park. First time in a while. 7th season as the Blue Jays manager. This is actually his 2nd tour as Blue Jays skipper. His lineup looks like this. It's brought to you by Associated Bank. Jose Reyes leads off. Melky Cabrera, then Jose Bautista. In the middle, it is Edwin Encarnacion, just back from the DL last week. Deanna Navarro will catch. Colby Rasmussen center. Juan Francisco, the former Brewer, in 7th. Munenori Kawasaki in the 8th spot. Jay Happ batting 9th and pitching in rock. There is Mike Fiers, and it is appearance number 7 in the big leagues. Start number 3 in a row for him.
Man, he's been outstanding. His first 2 starts after his recall from AAA. This is normally a Kyle Loesch day, but he's nursing an ankle sprain. So Mike Fiers working on regular rest, pushed up in the rotation, making start number 3 outstanding work against the Cubs at Wrigley in a win. 14 strikeouts in 6 innings of work. Well, check out the Brewers. They've got their left-handed lineup out there, meaning a left-handed pitcher tonight for the Blue Jays. Davis, Gomez, Braun from left to right. Ramirez, Segura, Ricky Weeks gets the start at second base. Lucroy at first with Martin Maldonado back behind home plate.
So LUCROY gets a call at first base. He's comfortable there. His 10th start at first base this season. Got to keep that bat in the lineup, and it was his bat that helped the Brewers sweep the Dodgers over the weekend. Dan Isonia will call the balls and strikes. He has been a World Series umpire in his career. He's one of the best around. David Rackley, Field and Colbreth, and Chris Segal on the bases. What a road trip. The Brewers go 5-2. They come back to Miller Park with a 2.5 game lead. Split with the Cubs in a 4-game series. Swept the Dodgers, who at the time had the best record in the National League. And speaking of best records, the Brewers right now just behind the Washington Nationals. All 3 division winners in the National League, the Brewers, the Nationals, the Dodgers, all have 70 wins. So that sets the stage as we start a homestand, a 5-gamer. The Blue Jays for 2, the Pirates for 3. Jose Reyes leads off and fires, deals strike 1, and away we go. Got a good crowd on hand tonight. They're still filing in. It's going to be a big one. Day game tomorrow with the Blue Jays, and then another day off on Thursday. So the Brewers are able to lick their wounds a little bit here over this stretch of 2 days off in a 4-day window. That's rare.
I mean, it's certainly going to help the starting pitching, particularly when you have a guy like Loesch who's nursing that ankle. It was his day to pitch today, but Mike Fiers ready to go on his normal rest. Never complain about off days this time of year, no matter how they come.
Well, you know, they stack them up in case you have weather problems. That's one of the beauties of playing here at Miller Park. You don't have to deal with that. Loesch is certainly pleased that these off days are well timed for him. Had to leave a game at Wrigley Field with an ankle injury, and they're just able to skip his start. Nobody has to pitch on short rest. Fiers is on his regular 5th day, and we'll probably see Loesch start the next road trip in San Diego. That'll be the next time up. There's a called strike 3, and here goes Fiers, picking up right where he left off against the Chicago Cubs.
Yeah, fastball at 91 miles an hour, and again, he's not a hard thrower, but his delivery is very deceiving. Hitters can't pick it up all that well, and this pitch gets plenty of home plate. Reyes just watches it and surprised that it caught the plate. Ball sneaks up on you with Fiers out there. It looks to the hitter more like a mid-90s fastball the way he throws it.
So 1 away. The game starts with a strikeout. Here is Melky Cabrera, switch hitting left fielder, and he's had a nice year for the Blue Jays. A .316 batting average, has 15 home runs and 67 driven in. 3 hits against the Brewers and an RBI in that series in Toronto at Rogers Center. Blue Jays swept that series.
Brewers are glad they're done on AstroTurf in the regular season. Did not fare very well on the turf in Tampa and in Toronto. 1-4 their record on turf. Looking to pay back the Blue Jays here on natural grass.
Cabrera takes a strike, and it's 2-1. Now Melky is second in the American League in hits right now. Jose Altuve leading the league in hitting for the Astros, and also leading the AL in hits. Got a chance for 200 this season. As Cabrera goes down the left field line. Davis is there, and 2 gone for Mike Fiers. Now the Brewers have had success against the American League this season. They are 10-8. Swept the Red Sox, won series from the Yankees and the Orioles, split with the Twins, and then lost both games against Toronto and lost a series against the Tampa Bay Rays. Jose Bautista with 2 away, and he takes a ball. Our AT&T Uverse Rewind Jose Bautista did some damage against the Brewers on Canada Day.
And coming off the disabled list, a couple of home runs in that 2-game series. The Blue Jays, second in all of baseball in hitting home runs, are right behind the Baltimore Orioles. So you got to keep these guys in the ballpark.
Back-to-back days of home runs for Bautista. His only 2 hits in that series. They were first inning home runs. 23 for the season for Bautista. And he pops this one foul. This is going to be a big matchup for Mike Fiers here. Bautista is a guy who punishes all kinds of pitches that are just around the strike zone. He's shown he'll chase a little bit, but he does damage.
He can hit a high fastball, especially if there's not much on it, like 91, 92 miles an hour. If he gets the count in his favor. They're coming upstairs with him here on 1-2 count.
And he slices one foul. He was way late. That one is lashed into the crowd above the dugout.
And that's not where Mike Fiers wanted that baseball. That ball right down the middle of the plate.
And I think all parties concerned about a fan who must have been hit up in the stands, a young fan it looks like, and well, nobody likes to see that. These players are so in tune to their surroundings and what's going on around them with the fans, and line drives like that send everybody looking.
And with these ballparks, fans very close to the field of play. That's one disadvantage of that. You like to be close to the game, but you can't get out of the way of line drives like that.
Here's a 1-2 and high and tight. Bautista gets out of the way of that pitch. Fiers will do that. That's part of his plan of attack. Even though he throws 90, 91 miles an hour, he knows he has to pitch up and in on occasion, and he has very good command up there.
And that's why he has to, because he doesn't throw all that hard.
The 2-2. Ooh, he just missed, right? He wanted that call. Count goes 3-2. Bautista does have a good eye. He gets on base a lot. Matter of fact, his .408 on base percentage is the best in the American League. He'll take his walks. Payoff pitch coming for Fiers. And he missed. And Bautista draws the walk, a 2-out base runner. And here comes another power hitter at EDWIN Encarnacion.
And not sure if that was supposed to be a changeup or a curveball. Not sure. Regardless, not even close. Almost hit him. And that's what Mike Fiers was able to do so well in Chicago in that last start. Curveballs, changeups for strikes. Just when he thought these hitters were sitting on fastball, he'd flip a curveball up there first pitch and get an early strike.
So 2 outs with a base runner now for EDWIN Encarnacion, who's coming off an injury, missed 6 weeks with a quad injury. Encarnacion missed 33 games. Still 27 home runs, and he's 5 off the American League lead in that category, despite missing 6 weeks of the season. Had a walk-off home run against the Brewers in Toronto in Game 2 of that series.
Yeah, these guys take some mighty hacks up there. You keep them in the ballpark, you have a very good chance to win. They're not a team that's going to string a bunch of hits together. They're a power hitting ball club, very similar to Milwaukee. They'll strike out, but they will take their walks.
Second round is skipper for John Gibbons. He was let go and then brought back. Very popular manager. Players manager, they say. No balls and 2 strikes. And down he goes. Mike Fiers with 2 strikeouts in the first. A scoreless start for Fiers. Now the Brewers coming to bat. to score in the first. Mike Fiers with a couple of strikeouts. Worked around a walk to Bautista. And now Milwaukee will bat. And Carlos Gomez back in his familiar spot at the top of the batting order. Associated Bank lineup turned in by Renicky is Gomez, Lucroy, and Braun. Note Lucroy playing first base. We got Ramirez, Davis, and Weeks with Maldonado, Segura, and Fiers rounding it out. Jay Happ on the mound for Toronto, and he's gone along pretty well since the All-Star break.
Yeah, he's been with Philly, the Houston Astros, third year with the Toronto Blue Jays, and he's got an 8-7 record. He's been very good since the All-Star break, making start number 10 against the Brewers. He's 3-3 in his career with an earned run average just under 6. So the Brewers have been able to get to him from time to time.
There have been a lot of Brewers hitters who have faced him in the past when he was in the National League. His first offering is in there for a strike on Gomez. Well, Carlos starting to put his name into the MVP discussion. The Brewers have 2 MVP candidates in Gomez and Lucroy. The first 2 Happ will face in this bottom of the first inning.
Boy, that'd be a pick 'em, wouldn't it? They both have been invaluable. I mean, it's tough to pick the MVP for the Brewers, let alone the National League, if
right.
you're talking about either Gomez or Lucroy.
Well, both defensive players plus defenders at their position, key positions, center field and catcher, and both bringing a lot of offense. Gomez has entered into the 2020 club. Hit his 20th home run in Los Angeles. Drives that one down the right field line. Foul. Hit that one sharply, though. Carlos on the road trip was 6 for 27. Had 2 home runs of his 6 hits. Had 3 runs batted in. Had a couple of key hits and home runs in that Dodgers series. That ball's hit well left center. And it's down. A base hit. Rasmus cuts it off. Gomez on his way to second and is in there. Flying in with a double. And what a way to start the night for the Brewers is Gomez with an extra base hit.
Yeah, picking up right where they left off on Sunday in L.A. Coming out to a very big lead early. Carlos Gomez, a big part of that, and doubles to start the game for Milwaukee. Well, Jay Happ's going to give you a lot of fastballs. Carlos Gomez loves that. And you like that matchup tonight.
Well, his 28th double to go along with 20 home runs, 27 stolen bases. The only 2020 player in Major League Baseball this season. And he is aboard for Jonathan Lucroy. 58 ribbies, 5 of them coming against the Dodgers on Sunday in 2 swings of the bat. Had a 2-run homer in the first, 3 RBI double in the second. And that set the Brewers up to sweep Los Angeles.
And that's exactly what you want to do on the road, right? Get off to an early start, take the crowd out of it.
Now Lucroy has 2 7 RBI games in his career. It's the 4th time he's had at least 5 RBIs in a game, and his Powerball home run number 13. Still one of my favorite images from the road trip. No high fives for Lucroy. Reynolds trying to give him the catching equipment.
Yeah, here,
go do your job.
Yeah, you don't run. Good for you, but get your stuff on. Be ready to catch.
That's right. That was great.
These guys like to have fun. Why wouldn't you? You win, you can have fun.
Gomez always a threat to steal third base. Trying to hold him close. And that one misses inside. 2 balls, no strikes. Well, we saw it time and time again on the road trip how the base running, stolen base threat of Carlos Gomez can be so distracting for a pitcher. And Gomez likes to steal third a lot. 8 of his 27 steals are of third base.
It's not just the pitcher, it distracts the defense too. I mean, up the middle. You get Encarnacion over there at third base taking a peek at Gomez, and that could give him a late break on a ground ball in the hole or down the line. You got the middle of the infield out of position at times, and just trying to make sure that he stays close to second base.
Got Jose Reyes standing right behind him. 2 balls and a strike on Lucroy. Brewers trying to strike quickly here at Miller Park. And that one's in there. Fastball strike. That came in at 93.
Hey, he'll top out once in a while at 94. And he's not afraid to come inside. Talking to Johnny Nairn, the Brewers hitting coach. He will come inside, and the ball will have a little bit of a cut to it on the glove side, little tail on the arm side.
LUCROY, right center, slicing away. Rasmus lays out and can't make the play. Now Gomez off to the races, and he will score. LUCROY doubles. 1-0 Milwaukee.
And yet another double for LUCROY. Boy, oh boy. Well, it looked as though off the bat that Rasmus was going to be able to get to that, but he just kept slicing away from him as he got out there. He got a glove on it, just couldn't hold on. And that was going to be an easy score for Gomez. And LUCROY trades places with Gomez at second base. There's a good way to start the game. Double-double, 1-0.
Nerd power, says LUCROY. Trying to lead the league in doubles for the first time in the history of the game. And trying to post the most doubles since Pudge Rodriguez at 45 doubles back in 1996. Ryan Braun fouls it away. Actually, if you go back pre-1900, there's a player by the name of Jocko Milligan, 1891. He's the last catcher to lead either league in doubles. So Jocko Milligan, remember that one.
I'm gonna.
In the modern era, though, there's not been a catcher to lead the league in doubles.
Did you say how many he had?
I don't know. Scoring was a little sketchy back then.
Yeah, right.
I'm guessing. But you get the idea, to have a catcher lead the league in doubles.
Pretty impressive.
And LUCROY adds one to it. Ryan Braun, chance to drive in a run. Add to the lead here in the first. One thing about Jay Happ and the Blue Jays, if you're looking at his last few starts, you'll notice the Blue Jays have not scored much for him at all. Blue Jays offense has only scored 3 runs in his last 3 starts. Matter of fact, Toronto, part of their struggle in the month of August, they're only averaging a little over 3 runs per game. You don't think of that with the heavy hitting Blue Jays. They do have Adam Lind back. ENCARNACION is back as well. Their offense is better. They have better pieces back, but they have had a dismal month of August. They are 4-11, and they're 1-5 on their current road trip.
And they weren't playing all that well when the Brewers went into Toronto, if you recall, but they were able to turn things around. You never know in this game. Took both games in that series after not playing very well for a while.
Braun breaks his bat, and that is going to be caught in left center by Cabrera. Blue Jays outfielders playing very deep and able to run that one down.
Well, it kind of floated because it was off the end of the bat. Sounded like he might have broken it, and the first out of the game for Happ. Happ will throw a lot of fastballs. He'll throw a curveball, a changeup, and a slider. Throws a lot of pitches. And you look at his pitches per inning, almost 19 per inning. That's one of the tops in all of baseball. So it takes him a while to get through innings ordinarily.
Here's Aramis Ramirez on the first pitch. He drives one into center. Back is Rasmus looking up. It's off the wall. LUCROY around third. He's going to try to score. Here comes the throw, and LUCROY is safe. Oh, what a send by Eddie Cedar. Aggressive.
Well, Kawasaki delayed a little bit. He didn't think there was any way there was even going to be a play at second base because he was out there for the relay throw. LUCROY actually thought about tagging up here. He wasn't off the bag all that far. Kawasaki very surprised the second baseman that there was going to be a play at second base. Right there, you see the pause, and that's all it took for LUCROY to be able to score. I guess you don't blame the Toronto second baseman for being surprised there's going to be a close play at second base on that, or home plate.
Double and an RBI for Ramirez. 3 doubles in the inning. Gomez, Lucroy, Ramirez. 2 runs are in. Still just 1 out. Here's Davis. He's lashing away. You know, we were talking over the weekend about the Brewers, and Craig Counsell brought this up about the nature of the Brewers and how successful they've been at the end of seasons post August 1st. And that play right there is exactly the point he was trying to make. These players know they have to be ready to run, on their toes. You don't know what's behind you. I think you get a lot of teams this time of year, and you're in August, even teams in pennant races, and be a lot of guys that would shut it down at third base.
And if you're a third base coach, you have to be confident that your players are going to be running as hard as they can, because if they don't, how do you know if you're going to send the guy or not? And you're right. I mean, you keep running until you're told to stop. And it should be kind of second nature for every big leaguer, but it's not. You're right.
And isn't it just the mindset, too? We're on the attack. We're an aggressive team. You hear that word a lot, but you take that mentality from the first inning on, it pays off. Happ falling behind Chris Davis. Jay's from the Midwest. He's from Peru, Illinois. 31 years of age. Was once a very big prospect with the Phillies when it came up. 3-1, and that's down and in. Ball 4. Davis draws the walk. And the Brewers trying to make this a big first inning. 2 on with 1 out.
Already 21 pitches, only 1 out in his first inning. We talked about the number of pitches Happ normally has to use to get through an inning. And almost 19. That's the second most in all of baseball as far as pitches per inning. You kind of impressed. I'm going with the matrix like
nice.
that.
You're going deep into the metrics. That's
well what you
done.
get. A week off, you start reading, and you kind of get into that stuff.
Okay, I'm in. You're in. Pete Walker, the Blue Jays pitching coach, having a chat there. Yeah. I mean, you learned a few things in the hospital, I guess, right? You were.
As tough as it was to sit at home and watch the games, you did a heck of a job, by the way. Thank you for all the extra work that you did. Thanks to Davey and you coming over, and Craig Counsell, and made it a lot easier getting better, knowing that things were well taken care of here. So thank you very much.
You're welcome, and we're glad you're back, man. Everybody that you just mentioned, glad you're here, and get rolling again in this pennant race. It's going to be some kind of fun here the next 6 weeks or 5 weeks as Ricky Weeks fouls it away. I mean, look at this crowd tonight on a Tuesday night in Milwaukee. There's no place better. I've told so many people, talk about Milwaukee in a pennant race. No place better to be than right here. Miller Park will be electric. It usually is, but it goes to another level when you start getting to this point of the season. Can't wait. And it figures to be a bit of a roller coaster. It always is, right? I mean, you're going to have ups and downs still. There's
never know.
A lot of baseball to be played.
And just to be in this position and having been in first place essentially all year. Since the first series of the season, the Brewers have been in first place and continue to play well. And hanging right in there every night.
0-2 to Ricky Weeks. Down and in. Weeks has good numbers against Jay Happ. He is a .471 hitter with 2 homers. 8 hits and 17 career at-bats. Makes up that .471 average. Weeks had a home run on the road trip in Chicago. A swing and a miss. Happ struck him out.
And it took a little bit off that time, and one of the first time he's thrown that off-speed pitch. Not sure it was a slider or changeup, but Ricky out in front. This will give us a good look at it. Yep, changeup. You see the way it comes out of the hand of Jay Happ, and Ricky out in front, well located down in the strike zone.
So 2 away. Here is Maldonado. He has more than held his own at the plate when he has gotten the chance to play, the backup catcher. Highlight of the season for Maldonado, that 4 RBI game he had against the Tampa Bay Rays in a game that was started by David Price.
It gives you that good defense, and really you can see how animated he is behind home plate, trying to urge those pitchers to put the ball in his glove. Pitchers love that.
Takes another strike. 0-2 the count. 2 runs are in on 3 doubles. 2 runners on. Fires struck out 2 batters in the first inning. Walked a batter, put up a 0. Here's the 0-2, and Maldonado takes it. 1-2 the count. Tonight, Martin is playing in his 40th game of the season. Making his 23rd start behind the plate of the year.
It just gives you an idea what Ron Renicky thinks of Maldonado defensively. Getting him in there, catching fires, and keeping Lucroy's bat in the lineup, putting him over at first base.
Maldonado and Fires go way back. They have been battery mates in the minor leagues throughout their upbringing. And you might remember when Mike Fires made his first major league start back in 2012 at Dodger Stadium. It was Maldonado who was behind the plate that night. So they know each other well. Not that LUCROY doesn't know Fires, but good chance to get LUCROY at first. As a called strike 3, Maldonado doesn't take the bat off his shoulder, is rung up, hitting over, but the Brewers score twice on 3 doubles. First Gomez, and then LUCROY. And then Aramis Ramirez drives in LUCROY. It's 2-0 Brew Crew as we head to the second.
First here in this interleague matchup with the Toronto Blue Jays, Mike Fires making the start tonight in place of Kyle Lohse. And Lohse continues to make good progress with that right ankle injury. He is on track, and he said he's been catching, he's been bunting. He will continue to do those activities. Ron Renicky stressing that they will only put Lohse back into the starting rotation when that ankle is ready to go, and he's not limited in anything that he's able to do with his mechanics. It will likely not be this homestand, but likely the first series on the road against San Diego when he is at full strength. And also an update on Matt Garza. Ron Renicky indicating that with his progression, they're anticipating he'll be back the first week of September. Threw at 90 feet yesterday, was at 120 feet today, and they are anticipating he'll be back that first week of September, Brian.
All right, thanks, Sophia. Good report on those two. That's a positive Injury update on Loesch, who is not on the disabled list, but skipping his start tonight. And Garza, who's been on the disabled list since August 3rd.
Yeah, you don't want to mess around with those leg injuries. You know, the ankles, I mean, because an ankle injury can turn into an arm problem very quickly. You started, compensating for something that hurts down around the ankles. Put a different stress or strain on your elbow or shoulder, and then you got real problems. Got to be careful.
Navarro leads off for the Blue Jays. 2-2 the count on the Toronto catcher, switch hitting catcher. That'll be a nice little comeback for Garza too, and he did say it was a lot more mild of a strain compared to that injury he suffered last year with the Cubs that knocked him out for 6 weeks. So this looks like it's going to be maybe a month, maybe less than. And let's hope he keeps progressing as he does. And then Reneke's going to have some really good problems to have. He's going to have to decide who comes out, who goes where. You expand the rosters in September.
Throw somebody in the bullpen, it's not a bad problem to have, actually.
Full count to Deandre Navarro. Little cue shot. That's going to fall, a base hit. Right off the end of the bat. And the Blue Jays have a base runner to start this second inning.
Hey, tonight's timer of the game winner is Mount Olympus Resorts in Wisconsin Dells. If they call the Brewers in the next 24 hours, they get 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets to a Brewers home game this year. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite. Incidentally, Sophia did a nice job with the Tavern of the Game.
Some say maybe the best job that the Tavern of the Game's ever experienced.
I tell you, it's like one of those things, it's Wally Pipp, you sit out, Wally Pipp showed up to a Yankee game with a headache, right? Lou Gehrig took over, and
the rest is history.
Whatever happened to Wally Pipp anyway, right?
He went on and had a good career.
Right.
But he didn't do the Tavern of the Game after that.
But I get what you're saying.
It's kind of your thing. Sophia made it her own.
Yeah.
And now there is some question in the ivory tower about where that belongs now. So.
I do recall, when Sophia would do the reads and the Tavern, she would add something to it.
Yes.
It wasn't just the Tavern of the Game. It was something very pertinent.
Let's just say you're in audition mode right now.
Yeah,
all right, Rock?
yeah, okay.
Give them your best.
I'm trying.
Colby Rasmus, the former Cardinal, at the plate. Rasmus with a runner at first. Not many stand closer to the plate than Rasmus.
But still able to take that fastball inside, pull the hands in, and keep that ball fair down the line.
Right on top, and he's up in the box. He doesn't go all the way to the back. He's trying to get off-speed pitches before they become treacherous, and trust his hands to be able to make contact and find the barrel.
Actually holds those hands out right over the plate.
A little bit unorthodox. You don't see it this way much.
But again, you see a guy standing right on top of that plate. If you're catching, what does that tell you? He wants the ball in on it. So you pound him away. You would think that if you pitch him away, it'd be right down the middle to most hitters. But he likes it inside.
Maldonado wants it up, and Rasmus turns on it. Down into the corner it goes. Braun will play it. Navarro does not run well. He'll end up at third base.
It's exactly what we were talking about, right? That fastball in. He's able to not only get the barrel of the bat on it, but somehow keep it fair. Well, the Brewers elect to come in on him. They get it in, not as much in as he wanted probably, but watch the way he's able to pull the hands in and keep that ball fair. Most hitters are going to surround that baseball and hook it foul.
So the Blue Jays with 2 on to start this second inning. Navarro at third, had a cue shot single. Rasmus with the double, and here is the former Brewer Juan Francisco. Blue Jays are stacked up with left-handed batters tonight, whether it be the switch hitters, Cabrera and Navarro, and then all the lefties in their lineup. Jose Reyes, a switch hitter as well. Francisco's found a home here in Toronto. He's hitting for a low average, just .220, but he's hit 16 homers, 42 driven in.
And doing exactly what the rest of the Blue Jays do. Hit home runs, drive in runs. Don't worry too much about the batting average for Francisco.
Swing and a miss. That time Fiers got it where he wanted. And he ties up Francisco. It's 0-2.
And Francisco is a guy you can pitch inside. He likes the ball out away from, extend those arms.
Fiers could use a strikeout here. Second and third, nobody out. 1-2 the count. Fiers got a lot of strikeouts with that pitch against the Chicago Cubs. Free swinging bunch that they are.
Young hitters, free swingers. Yep. Most of his strikeouts came on pitches out of the strike zone. You're right.
Got him. Fiers goes with a hook. Strikes out Francisco. Good curveball to get out number one.
Oh, that's a big one too. Almost as if it's fallen out of the sky. Check out the rotation. 12-6. Straight down. Not a whole lot of movement either way, but down. And gets Francisco way out in front. That's a dandy of a pitch.
What a rotation of the baseball. You could really see it. And that old description, the 12-6, like hands on a clock, that was just tumbling end over end. Francisco, he waited for it. He was in a position to hit it, but it had more break than he thought it would.
A pitch that's not thrown all that hard and breaks that much, that's tough to do. You really have to snap it off. As far as that spin, the rotation.
Well, here's a key batter early for Fiers. You got the pitcher coming up next. There's a way out of this inning. Yuninori Kawasaki, second baseman, batting 8th in this lineup.
Infield playing back up the middle. Well, the 2-run lead. You want to try and protect against the flare over the infield, so you play him back.
Unlike most slap hitters, left-handed slap hitters, the Brewers have Chris Davis in left field, shallow and toward the line. Very similar to how the Brewers play Carl Crawford in Los Angeles.
Everybody's shallow except for Braun out there in the outfield.
Not a good base runner over at third. Not much speed over there. Right off the leg of Kawasaki, I think. Yep, foul ball, says the home plate umpire.
They cut fastball, pounds it right off his shin.
Ouch. Kawasaki's been a good hitter lately for the Blue Jays. His overall average is .279, but he's here hitting nearly .300 in a very long stretch of games going back to June 25th. 41 games he's hitting .299. It's been a tough out. Doesn't strike out much. Chokes up on the bat with 2 strikes and slaps that one foul.
A little bit different situation for him, being the 8th hitter in the National League ballpark. He's got to be a little bit more aggressive. Ordinarily the 9th hitter for the Blue Jays. And when you have the DH, you got the top of the order coming up behind you. You got to be a little bit more aggressive in these spots.
Second and third. Good speed at second. Not much speed at third, and Fiers misses with a high fastball. 2-2 now. Navarro started it with a single. Rasmus doubled. See what he has in mind here. 2-2. And a slow roller. Fires gloves. Will go to the bag. Made the smart play to get the out. A run does score. But Fires gets the second out of the inning with the pitcher coming up. It's 2-1 Brewers.
Now you start the inning second and third, nobody out, and you allow only one run to score. You got to feel pretty good. You got the pitcher coming up. He's got a chance to do that.
Give Kawasaki an RBI there on the ground out. And here comes Happ. He's only had 3 plate appearances all year. He struck out all 3 times he's been at the plate. Coming up in the National League as he did, Happ is familiar with a bat in his hands, and it's not a totally foreign spot for him. And as you can see, has a pretty decent swing. This is his 3rd year with the Blue Jays. He hasn't hit much over those 3 years. Matter of fact, just has the 3 at-bats this season in the last 3 seasons. In there for strike 2. Fires trying to take care of the opposing pitcher. Strand a runner at third and get back to the dugout. The 1-2 on the way, and Happ takes it high and away. 2-2. Slow curveball got him. Happ knew it. Says thank you very much. Fires, strikes out 2 more. Gives up a run. It's 2-1 Brewers. Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Piggly Wiggly, the official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin. And by Marshfield Clinic. Don't just live, shine. Big crowd tonight at Miller Park. Great to have you with us on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Don't forget, we're televising tomorrow, maybe on some of your schedules as a no TV game, but that is not the case. We have added it, and we'll be on the air tomorrow in the matinee game, final game of this series. Just a quick 2-gamer with the Blue Jays. Gene Segura leads off for the Crew against Jay Happ. First pitch is in there for a strike. Brewers score twice in the first on 3 doubles. 3 doubles and a walk. Happ came back and had back-to-back strikeouts to end the inning. Segura, a little slow roller. Jose Reyes makes the play for the out. 1 gone.
Hey, let's check out the Blue Jays defense as you penciled in today. Cabrera, Rasmus, and Bautista in the outfield. Francisco Reyes, the very athletic Jose Reyes, feeling healthy again these days. Kawasaki and Encarnacion. Deanna Navarro, the former Cincinnati Red, behind home plate, and he's hanging the signs for Jay Happ. You know, the Blue Jays tied for 3rd in the American League in fielding percentage at .986, so they've been pretty good.
And an excellent shortstop at Jose Reyes, one of their premier players. Hadn't been quite the same player after hamstring problems, but still a very good player. And their leadoff hitter. And he usually makes all the plays and can make some of the spectacular ones as well.
They're telling how good he could have been, or maybe continue to be, but all the injuries that he's had, all of his leg problems, that's his game, speed.
Completely tore the hamstring a few years back. Very similar to the injury that Ricky Weeks suffered. Full of energy. Former batting champion Jose Reyes. Fires down on strikes. So Happ returns the favor to his mound opponent. That gives Jay Happ 3 Ks, and he's got 2 quick outs here in the 2nd inning.
Yeah, saved his best fastball for Mike Fiers. That one at 94 miles an hour.
Top of the order. Here's Gomez. Doubled and scored in the 1st inning. And as always, he did it with a little entertainment value.
A double on a base hit that normally would be a single for most guys.
Yeah, then scores on a ball that Rasmus almost caught, a diving attempt on Lucroy. Gomez was able to get restarted quickly. That's foul. No play, foul ball. Carlos Gomez, 40 extra base hits, 25 steals. Who's on that list? Only Jose Altuve, the American League's leading hitter, and Denard Span of the Washington Nationals.
Incredible year Altuve's putting together in the American League. Leading the league in hits and batting average, and he's something else.
0-2 to Gomez. 2 outs in the 2nd. And a broken bat. Had a funny sound to it. Kawasaki makes the play, and that will retire the side. And a bounce back inning for Jay Happ. To the 3rd we go at Miller Park. 2-1 Crew.
for the Brewers over the Blue Jays here at Miller Park as we head to the third, joined now by Brewers Chief Operating Officer Rick Schlesinger. And Rick, a nice 5-game homestand here, a first-place team, a division rival. The Pittsburgh Pirates are coming into town this weekend, and as if that's not enough, the team's given away plenty of stuff all weekend long.
Yeah, every game this weekend is a giveaway. We've got T-shirts on Fridays, umbrellas on Saturdays, and Gene Segura bobbleheads on Sundays. So obviously a big series with the Pirates. We're playing well. We got to continue to play well, and it's going to be a lot of people in this ballpark this weekend.
First place team in August, so naturally there are starting to be a lot of questions from fans about postseason and how they can go about acquiring postseason tickets.
Well, if you're not a season seat holder already, the best way to become a postseason seat holder is to buy tickets for this year and to commit to a 20-game or more pack next year. 902 hits is the number to call. We've got a lot of fans wondering about it, and a lot of tickets to sell, but a lot of excitement for the postseason potential.
All right, thanks, Rick, for your time, and great position for the Brewers to be in when they can answer questions from fans about postseason tickets, BA.
That's exactly right. That's Rick Schlesinger's favorite topic.
Yeah.
Postseason tickets. You think you're a nervous fan out there, folks. I promise you, you are not more nervous than Rick Schlesinger about this season. He is not only a diehard Brewers fan, but he's also got a little business stake in the operation here.
Indeed, right?
Done a great job. Look at this ballpark tonight. Almost full. As Reyes skies one to Segura. Jose Reyes retired. One gone for Fires, who has 4 strikeouts. Great night for baseball tonight. Thought we might have some rain earlier this evening. Matter of fact, the roof was closed right around the time of batting practice, but they opened it up shortly thereafter. Picture perfect evening in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
It's been like that all summer, hasn't it?
Feels like it's been great. Cabrera on the first pitch. See if it stays playable. Ramirez is going to give it a look. He's there, and he can't make the play. Well, he had another step, and that'll give Cabrera another swing.
He did have room. It was in play. Fans doing a decent job staying out of the way. And Ramirez will probably tell you should have had it.
Cabrera flew out to left his first time up. And a swing and a miss. There's that slow curveball. That's the slowest one yet from Fires.
He's already thrown more of those than he did against the Cubs. Realizing that this Toronto Blue Jays ball club aren't going to miss too many fastballs. So he's mixing in that curveball pretty well in the early going tonight.
It's about 20 miles per hour slower than his fastball. Not easy to do. Comes back with a fastball and misses.
Curveball's down, fastball's up. And that's the way Mike Fiers has been successful, even in the minor leagues.
Ouch. That's 2 Blue Jay hitters that have fouled pitches off their legs. That one stung him. See where it got him. Oh, same spot.
Same spot, Kawasaki, right?
Right on the shin.
Take that. That'll slow him down.
Now, if you're a hitter, does that get you inside conscious? I mean, are you thinking, well, you know he's coming back in there again? Maybe started a little earlier?
Might make you a little bit more tentative on a pitch in there.
Curious. Let's see what Baldonado and Fires think. 2-2. And Cabrera into left. Almost in the same spot. Davis is there. Cabrera's 0 for 2. And Mike Fiers has retired the first 2 in this third inning. Now time for you to tweet your photo using hashtag WisFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming broadcast. It's all brought to you by AT&T. We're getting a lot of requests for maybe tweeting a photo of your finger while you were away for our Wiz fan photo. We didn't feel it was appropriate at the time.
I wouldn't have done it. It wasn't a pretty sight.
So at one point we had a Band-Aid on a chorizo sausage, and that was going to kind of be our. But then we felt bad for you, even though they looked very similar.
I think that was our parting comments. One in Chicago.
I know it. We're kidding around about your finger. Next thing you know, you're at the hospital.
Yeah.
I felt really bad about that.
The doctor looked at me and said, "You better get out of here, son." That's all I need to hear.
Ball and a strike on Bautista. Big swing. 1-2 the count.
First of all, anybody calls me son, I know that I'm in trouble.
Yep.
I haven't called that in a while.
I vouch. I was witnessing that conversation. That was a one-way conversation. And then the fun began, right? The 1-2, and Bautista chops one foul.
I learned two things on this last episode. Number one, don't mess around with your health. You get something like that, you just got to go get treated. The other thing is, you got to listen to your wife. She told me to go get that taken care of on Sunday.
And you didn't.
I thought I'd be fine.
She's a tough guy. That tough guy routine.
But you don't think I'm hearing any "I told you so's," do you?
Oh, hardly.
She was right.
Bautista hits it sharply. Segura's got it, and he throws him out. Shift was on for Bautista. It works out well. 3 up, 3 down inning for Mike Fiers. Milwaukee scoring twice in the first inning, had 3 doubles in that inning. Our CarSoup.com trivia question: how many games did Bill Schroeder miss due to injury in his career? Oh, a good and a timely one.
I can't even count that many. I was on the disabled list quite a bit with the elbow.
Yeah, I had a bad elbow at the end there, right?
Yeah, they didn't miss me though.
Yes,
they just found somebody else to warm up the pitcher.
They missed
in the
your
bullpen.
friendly banter,
Right,
and they missed you on the field. So you missed 5 here, right?
I think so.
Yeah, that's cool. Plus,
it was more than that. Almost 7.
First time ever for you.
Seemed like an eternity. Yes, it did.
You've been a pretty lucky guy all these years with your health, injuries, illness,
and never take it for granted. That's for sure, right?
20th year, and that was the first time you ever missed with an injury or illness.
Right.
It's impressive.
Hope it's the last.
LUCROY leads off, hits that one sharply to center field, and Rasmus can't get it. It's off the wall, and Jonathan LUCROY has another double. Locked in right now, Jonathan LUCROY.
Just something else, this guy. I mean, banks one into center field. I mean, a frozen rope. Now, keep in mind, Rasmus is playing relatively deep out there in center field, still not able to get to it. And LUCROY 2 for 2, 2 doubles, and trying to break that all-time doubles record for a catcher. I mean, Rasmus doesn't have to go back that far. It looked as though that ball might have knuckled a little bit on him because he kind of went after a little bit peculiar.
LUCROY with 2 doubles tonight. Remember, he's playing first base.
That's right. Doesn't count for a catcher, does it?
He has 35 doubles as a catcher this year, playing the position of catcher. He's 10 off Pudge Rodriguez's mark. Did it with the Rangers in '96, had 45 as a catcher. But the other part of that is that LUCROY is leading his league, and he is a catcher. Period. And that's never been done. So that's 42 doubles now for LUCROY. And he's at second to start the 3rd inning. Ryan Braun trying to add to the lead. He chased one. Jay Happ finished second in the Rookie of the Year voting back in 2009. He was on some kind of trajectory when he first got called up. Chris Coughlin won the Rookie of the Year that year with the Marlins. I was looking at that list, Rock, and it's interesting. First of all, Andrew McCutchen finished 4th that year. Tommy Hanson, remember how much hype came with him when he came up with the Braves?
Atlanta, yeah.
5th in the voting that year in Rookie of the Year, Casey McGee.
Casey, yeah.
How about that?
What a year he's having.
Yeah, he is driving in a lot of runs.
Comeback player of the year, you would think, for him.
Braun down the right field line. That's trouble for the Blue Jays. To the wall it goes. LUCROY scores easily, and Ryan Braun keeps the doubles parade alive.
Yep, 5 doubles, 3 runs for the Brewers, and the top of the order is clicking on all cylinders right now. LUCROY, a leadoff double. Ryan Braun doing what he does best. He just rips that one down the line and right. And by the time Bautista gets to it, LUCROY scores, and Braun trades places with him at second base.
First 4 in the batting order for the Brewers, 5 for 7 with 5 doubles.
Look at that spray chart for Braun. Tough to defend a guy hitting the ball like that.
RBI number 70 for Ryan Braun. Here's Ramirez, fouls one away. Aramis had an RBI double in the 1st inning.
The Brewers have not made any mistakes with that fastball that Happ is throwing. All of their hits have come on fastballs. Just hasn't been able to get consistent enough to throw that pitch right there for strikes. There's the slider. He'll throw the curveball and changeup. He did throw a changeup to Weeks to strike him out. But hasn't been able to throw it early in the count.
One ball, 1 strike on Aramis. Had a good cut. Fouls it back. Disappointed he missed that one, didn't he? 1-2 the count. Happ's last start, Rock told you about his numbers since the All-Star break with an ERA at 2.51. Well, that includes a start against the Mariners his last time out, where he gave up 4 earned runs in 6 innings. Ramirez to right, chasing back Bautista. He'll wind it up, make the catch. Braun's going to tag, and he'll make it to 3rd. So it's a loud out, but it's a productive one for Ramirez, advancing Braun to 3rd base. 1 gone in the 3rd inning.
Didn't miss that one by much. And another fastball by Jay Happ. The Brewers able to square up.
So here's Davis, chance to drive in a run without the benefit of a hit. The Blue Jays are going to bring their infield in. 3 runs on the board already. 5 hits, all doubles. Davis hit his 20th home run of the season against the Chicago Cubs on the last road trip. Now with 61 runs batted in.
Doug Melvin looking like a genius right now, putting his eggs in the Davis basket even before the season started. Spring training, giving him left field, moving Braun to right, and he has responded. It's been amazing to watch him this season, the way he's developed.
Says he feels like he can be a much better hitter for average. He's hitting .252. That's a good number. His on base percentage only .306. So those are the areas he'd like to improve upon. He wants to be a more selective hitter, draw some more walks, hit for a higher average. And you'll see the power numbers jump accordingly. That ball's driven to center field. Rasmus going back. He's got it. And Braun will score. So the Brewers get him over and get him in. And it's 4-1 Milwaukee on a sac fly and an RBI by Davis.
Yep, RBI number 62. And weighted back nicely on an off-speed pitch. He just keeps those hands quiet, waits back, and just drives that one into center field. And Davis barrels that one up. It's a home run. Chris Davis, top 10 in the National League in home runs and extra base hits. So he's paid off nicely.
And getting better and better. 2 outs, bases empty. 2 runs are in. Here's Ricky Weeks. You'll see Scooter Gennett back in the lineup tomorrow. Brewers will have another team off day on Thursday before the Pirates come to town Friday. If you don't have tickets for the weekend series yet, A, you better hurry. B, we really need you here. That's going to be a big one.
Yeah, they're all big.
Pirates are in a free fall right now. They're losing today 10-2 to the Braves. And this was the day that the Pirates got Andrew McCutchen back. He was out with a fractured rib. Pittsburgh has lost 6 in a row. And if that score hangs up in Pittsburgh against the Braves, it'll be 7 straight losses.
6 back coming into today's game. Still in striking distance, but they better turn it around quickly. And you know the Pirates are thinking about turning their fortunes around against the Brewers and getting right back into this race this weekend.
The Brewers have 10 wins against Pittsburgh this season. By the way, an update from St. Louis. The Reds have just taken the lead on John Lackey and the Cardinals. That game's 2-1 now, Cincinnati. Top of the 4th. Reds still batting. Full count to Weeks. Lines it foul just a touch late.
Is there any question that Billy Hamilton's going to be the Rookie of the Year? I mean, is there anybody else you think, perhaps?
No, I don't think so.
That guy's something else.
Yeah. I mean, Hamilton, he's been more than what the Reds thought he would, and they thought he was going to be an impact player. Big bouncer out to short. Tough hop, and that eats up Jose Reyes. You could see that one coming.
Kind of a nonchalant effort by Jose Reyes. You can see that hop. He had some top spin on that baseball. That second hop gets him right here. Right here, kind of picks up steam on him, and he just didn't play that very well. That is going to be an error. Jose Reyes committing error number 16 at shortstop.
Tough spin bouncer.
That's the definition of letting a ball play you.
So Weeks is on, and we'll see if the Brewers can cash in on a defensive lapse by the Blue Jays. It's been a good defensive team this year, Toronto. I think you look at their defensive lineup, and not a lot of guys you'd say have great range. Kawasaki has a lot of range at second. Certainly Reyes does. Rasmus can run a little bit, but they usually catch what they get to.
Yeah, they're not going to take away a lot of base hits, right? I mean, maybe Reyes and Kawasaki, but not much range for Francisco at first. Or at third base, Encarnacion at first. But you give up defense for all the home runs that they hit.
Reyes leading the league in errors by a shortstop. That one got him too. He's looking at his right hand.
Trying to get the feeling back in those fingers.
2-0 to Maldonado. Martin struck out his last time up. Going old school, no batting gloves. Although the lime green bat wrap is not so old school, is it?
No, that's in place of batting gloves. That stuff's nice. Gives you good grip. A little bit of a tacky feel to it.
That's just come on in the last few years. You used to never see anything like that. The only kind of wrap you'd see on a bat was tape, and then pine tar on the tape. These are the kind of wraps that the same texture as you'd have on a tennis racket or on an aluminum bat.
Makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah. Maldonado in the air to center. Rasmus is under it, and Happ works around the error, but gives up 2 runs prior to. Jonathan Lucroy stays hot. Lucroy with his second double of the night, and then scores on the Braun double down the right field line. 4-1 Milwaukee. League Baseball at Miller Park, last interleague series of the year. Hey, Saturday, MLB on Fox Sports 1 returns, a doubleheader. You got the Giants and the Nationals. That's a nice matchup there. And then the Braves square off against the Reds. Coverage begins at 2:30 Central on Fox Sports 1. Also streaming live on Fox Sports Go. That's what it looks like in the National League East. The red-hot Washington Nationals lead the Braves by 6 games in that division.
And Nationals have won 7 straight. What a resurgence they've had. The Braves looked like they had a pretty comfortable lead there for a while, but that 9-game losing streak that they had got them back to the pack, and now you just never know.
Washington has the lead tonight, 8-1 over the Diamondbacks behind Strasburg. Got a chance to win their 8th consecutive ball game.
How about the Angels catching the Oakland A's?
Something.
Yeah.
Quickly.
Yeah.
That was a quick collapse by Oakland. They're hoping to get it turned around against the Mets tonight.
You just never know.
Angels lead Boston 3-2 tonight in the 6th as Encarnacion takes a strike. Now the Brewers are behind the Nationals slightly for the National League's best record. There's a line shot right at Ramirez. The shift on. Guarding the line was Ramos, and he makes the play on Encarnacion.
Well, rocket right at him. Looked like it had a little bit of a hook to it as it got out there, and Ramirez able to handle on the backhand. A hot corner down there at third base.
So one gone. Fires is retired 7 straight after the double by Rasmus. Only run for the Blue Jays came in the 2nd on a ground out and an RBI from Kawasaki. Deanna Navarro scored that run. Has one of the 2 hits tonight. They came back to back in that 2nd inning. Navarro and Rasmus. Big swing. 1-2 on Navarro. Fires struck out 4 batters in the first 2 innings.
It's all well and good to get the strikeouts, but and sometimes those strikeouts take a while, and to get your pitch count up, that's what got him against the Cubs. High pitch count through 6 innings because of the 14 punch outs. He'd rather get some outs early in the count, I believe. I know Rick Kranitz would.
There's a swing and a miss and a strikeout for Fires.
But if you need to, go ahead and strike him out. I mean, if
we're not against it.
Hey, don't miss the final T-shirt Friday this season. That comes against the Pirates as the Brewers host the division rivals. All fans will get a free Brewers T-shirt courtesy of Quick Trip. For tickets, call 414-902-4000 or go to brewers.com.
I've assembled a nice collection of Booth T-shirts.
Yeah.
Just in my size.
That's a nice one.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's a little snug for you, though.
I know. I mean, I'm sure they have it in my size.
Well, we could get 2 of them.
Do I have one? Oh, here it is.
Rasmus. Bouncer to third. Ramirez makes the play, and Mike Fires gets through the 4th. 1-2-3 inning. Has 5 strikeouts tonight. Just 1 run allowed. Starting a new homestand tonight, 5 games in all. Pirates are coming in. Don't forget, you can catch every strikeout, every game ender, and every history-making moment on MLB Whip Around. That's weeknights at 9 p.m. Central. It's on Fox Sports 1, streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Some of the scores we're keeping an eye on tonight. Braves handling the Pirates this evening. Segura on the first pitch, flies to right for the out. Gene's 0 for 2. And 1 away for Jay Happ as Mike Fiers comes up. So where are we at right now, Rock? Are we looking ahead or are we looking behind? Are we looking ahead at the Washington Nationals? Are we looking behind at the Cardinals? Craig Counsell gave me a little inspirational speech the other day. You know, we're here keeping an eye on every pitch in the Cardinals games and the Pirates games and Cincinnati. And
which is we stuff?
We
as a group, you or what?
Yeah, me.
Okay.
We as in us and me. Fires a little flare, and that's going to fall. A base hit. First hit of the year from Mike Fiers.
That's what we should be looking at. Look ahead.
Look ahead.
I don't think you should worry about the Nationals. I don't think you should worry about the St. Louis Cardinals or anybody else. Take care of business at hand. I think that's what the Brewers ball players are doing, the coaching staff. And Mike Fiers able to dump one in front of Bautista for a base hit. There you go.
All smiles. I mean, with a swing like that, many more to come. It's only his 4th career hit. He's now 4 for 44 at the plate.
In other words, I don't think it's really a, something that the Brewers are happy about if they lose a game and the Cardinals lose a game.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, they got to take care of business themselves.
That makes sense.
Not worry too much about what the Cardinals are doing. Except, of course, when the Cardinals and the Brewers hook up.
It's a very ball player thing to say right there. That's good.
I mean, as fans, we are always looking at that. And I know the players are looking at it. They don't get caught up in it.
Got a visit to the mound here. Pete Walker, after Happ falls behind Gomez 2-0, Walker springs out of that dugout, something he didn't like in this sequence against Gomez. Blue Jays have bullpen activity. That is Dustin McGowan.
You see the problem that Jay Happ is having tonight as we watch him here in the 4th inning. He's trying to get ahead with something other than the fastball, just not able to throw it for strikes. The Brewers are laying off of it and then forced to commit with the fastball. And when he's at his best, he's able to throw those off-speed pitches, first pitch, get the strike, and then work the hitter and get the hitter on the defensive. He hasn't been able to do that tonight.
Now Gomez in the driver's seat. 2-0 the count. Fires at first. 3 balls, no strikes.
There's that slider. Just the Brewers are laying off of it as if they know it's coming. That's a pretty good pitch.
LUCROY would be next. And that's ball 4. Carlos Gomez walks on 4 straight. And now first and second for Jonathan LUCROY. And on the phone is Pete Walker. And you wonder if Gibbons is going to let it ride with Happ here. This could be the game right here in the 4th inning. There's only 1 man out. The Brewers trying to put up a rally, put a crooked number on the board. And now Navarro goes to the mound. Feels like a stall. Now the home plate umpire goes to the mound. LUCROY and our Southwest Airlines non-stoppable play. Not 1 but 2 doubles tonight. Drove in a run with a double in the 1st inning.
And both of them just out of the reach of Colby Rasmus. That one in the gap in right center. That one right over his head.
And Happ has faced his last hitter. So Gibbons has his reliever ready. And he will make the call to the bullpen. Dustin McGowan coming on. The Brewers chase the Blue Jays starter in the 4th. Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. By the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. And by Miller Lite, now in the original can, it's Miller time. Under the Tuesday night lights of Miller Park, roof is open. It's a beautiful night. Not a good night for Jay Happ. He's out. Jay Happ only able to get one out in the fourth inning. 3 1/3 he goes. It'll be Dustin McGowan out of the Blue Jays bullpen early tonight.
He's been pretty good since being taken out of the rotation. Opponents just hitting just shy of 200 against him as a guy out of the bullpen. He was a first-round draft choice for the Blue Jays way back in 2000. He's been with the organization throughout his entire career.
Fires had a base hit, the first of the year for him. Just started with one out, and then a walk to Gomez on 4 pitches. And here is LUCROY. 2 doubles, an RBI. LUCROY had 2 hits in Los Angeles Sunday, 5 RBIs, and a double and a home run. And LUCROY gets jammed, and that's going to be caught by Reyes. Everybody scampers back. First, make it the second out of the inning. LUCROY retired for the first time. And it'll be Ryan Braun here with 2 on and 2 out.
A good fastball by McGowan, 96 miles an hour, able to get in on the hands of Jonathan LUCROY that time. Different between 93 left-handed with not much of a breaking pitch for Jay Happ, and then you got to go after the big right-hander with that 96 mile per hour fastball. 6'3", 220 pounds is Dustin McGowan.
Well, you know it's a move that Gibbons didn't want to make. Pitcher spot due up third in the 5th inning. It's a 4-1 game. We're on a chance with 2 on and 2 away, and there's a strike. 96 with that heater.
Playing Brawny pretty much straight away. They're giving him a lot of room down that left field line, but the infield pretty much straight away. Kind of pinching him up the middle just a bit.
Ryan drove in RBI number 70 in the 3rd inning with a double. 7th in the league in RBIs. First Brewer to 70. And a bouncing ball to Reyes. He'll go the easy way for the out. And that will retire the side. Brewers let an opportunity go. Strand 2. It's 4-1 Milwaukee.
interleague matchup between the Brewers and the Blue Jays. They lead it 4-1 as we head to the 5th. And in our Crew in the Community tonight, the Brewers Community Foundation 50-50 raffle presented by Northwestern Mutual has been a huge success this season thanks to all the fans coming to Miller Park. Every home game, fans can purchase $2 raffle tickets from sellers in bright orange shirts with the hopes of winning 50% of the day's raffle ticket sales. The other 50% goes to a foundation with the opportunity to support a high-quality nonprofit that focuses on health, education, recreation, and basic needs. Once again, BCF, one of the many things they do to make a difference in the community. And Mike Fiers back on the mound for the 5th. Ron Renneke, speaking about Fiers, before tonight's game, said that this start over the first 2 is very reminiscent of his 2012 start, when 10 of his first 12 starts, he gave up 2 runs or fewer with at least 6 innings pitched. And he said this start is just like that one 2 years ago, but he said the difference is that his command is better. He said the stuff is the same, but he's been commanding his pitches better, and moving forward, if he continues on this pace, he said we'll have some very tough choices to make as we get Matt Garza and Kyle Loesch back healthy.
Yeah, that's a good problem to have. Thank you, Sophia. You see the numbers for Fiers tonight. This is his 3rd start at the big league level this year. He went 8 innings against the Dodgers here at Miller Park in his first start of the season. Juan Francisco on the first pitch, a mile in the air. And Gomez is there to make the play for out number 1. 1 pitch, 1 out for Fiers.
Got in on him on an 87-mile-an-hour pitch that time. Might have been a cut fastball, but Francisco not picking it up all that well and jammed himself. The amazing thing about the delivery of Mike Fiers.
And the art of pitching, right?
Yeah.
It's not the art of throwing. Trying to disrupt the timing of the hitter. Up and down, in and out. He's been as fast as 91 tonight, but as slow as 71 with that curveball, which you can use as a change of pace. He can throw that curveball a lot of different speeds in the 70s, from the low 70s to the upper 70s, depending on how hard he wants to spin it up there. It's just developing that great feel. Renneke always talks about command, and that's what it is right there. Pop up, foul territory, going to be close. LUCROY is out of room.
The thing that Mike Fiers does so well, I mean, as good as anybody, is hides the baseball. I mean, as he starts his delivery, he keeps that baseball in his hand. You can't see it then. Then he brings it behind his back. Can't see it then. And all of a sudden, the baseball appears from nowhere. You really have nowhere really to follow that delivery around and pick up the baseball. And that's what makes him so difficult to hit when he gets ahead in the count. And that's what coaches and players will tell you, that a guy that throws 90 to 91, it appears to the hitter as if it's 94, 95, because they just don't see it.
Missed with the curve. Kawasaki's got it in a 3-2 count. Blue Jays second baseman drove in the lone run for Toronto on a ground ball back in the 2nd. A little tapper that Fiers fielded and went to first base, taking the sure out as opposed to trying to make a spectacular play to get the runner at home. Full count. On the ground, easy for LUCROY. Steps on the bag for out number 2. LUCROY likes those. He wants physical contact with the baseball.
Yeah, anytime the baseball can hit him in the chest, he's happy.
He's comfortable.
Hey, Gene Segura makes his all-fan bobblehead debut this Sunday as the Brewers host the Pirates. All fans at Miller Park will get a Gene Segura bobblehead courtesy of Pepsi. Call 414-902-4000 or go to Brewers.com for tickets.
Perfect likeness to the Brewer shortstop. Now here's the answer to the question: who would Gibbons use in the pitcher spot in the order? He's going to use a pitcher, Drew Hutchison, who pitched a dandy of a ball game against Milwaukee on Canada Day last month. Givens doesn't want to burn a position player this early in the game in the 5th, so he's got Hutchison out there. Obviously, he can swing the bat a little bit.
They had decisions that managers have to make in the National League that they don't have to worry too much about over there in the American League. Makes it a little bit easier to manage, get through a game. Don't have those tough choices to make.
Yeah, Fires puts one by him. 1-2 the count.
Yeah, why wouldn't you throw him up there? He's 2 for 3 this year.
Right. Yep. He only has 5 career at-bats in the major leagues. Had a couple of at-bats in 2012. Talented young pitcher, still trying to find his way. But he's had his moments on the mound this season. He was great against the Brewers.
Just need to keep the Brew Crew off AstroTurf. That's all.
That's it. 1-4 this year on turf. Swing and a miss. Fires strikes him out. 6 Ks from Mike Fires. He is through 5. He's retired 12 in a row. Fifth inning at Miller Park, starting this 2-game series, 5-game homestand. Our AT&T fan photo of the game is from Jacob. It is a Brewers themed birthday cake. Look at that.
That's sweet.
That is awesome. Nice going. That's a good looking cake. Speaking of birthdays, Rock, it is Ron Renicke's birthday today. This is what the Brewers were able to whip up for Ron. You see the face there is kind of symbolic of what the manager is experiencing right now. He's kind of happy, but a little bit nervous. And
about the game, you mean?
Yeah,
not his birthday.
Right. No, he's very, very happy about his birthday.
Did Karen make that cake?
I'm not sure about that. Ron Roenicke is 58 years old today. He's a young 58.
Yep, so young. He threw batting practice today, as he does, every time the Brewers face a left-handed pitcher. You don't see many managers do that.
No.
Most managers are, walking around, which he does when right-handed pitchers are facing the Brewers, as Todd Redmond takes over for the Blue Jays. 35th appearance for him. Pretty good numbers. Earned run average under 3.
Ramirez goes into deep right center field. That's way back, and it's down a base hit. It'll bounce out. And it's another double for the Brew Crew. A ground rule double this time. Ramirez has 2 doubles. The Brewers have 6 doubles tonight.
The only single was off the bat of Mike Fiers. And Rami, you know he's seeing it well when he's starting to go in that direction. Out in the right center, just out of the reach of Bautista out there in right field. Well, the Brewers have had some seeing eye doubles tonight. Just out of the reach of that Toronto outfield.
Yeah, Bautista, who missed some time earlier this year with a knee injury, comes up limping there. All right, so a leadoff double. The Brewers trying to add to their lead. It's 4-1. Davis at the plate. If you're wondering, the most doubles by a team this season is 8. Detroit did it against the Washington Nationals. The Tigers had 8 doubles this year. The Brewers are 2 doubles away from matching an MLB season high. Davis drove in a run with a sac fly in the 3rd, following a Braun double, and then Braun went to third base on a fly ball to right. Powerball home run leaderboard has Reynolds at the top, 21 homers. There's Davis. Gomez with 20 as well. Braun making a push at a 20 homer season. Braun's got a chance to drive in 100. He'd have to go a little, but there are 37 games remaining, including tonight. He's sitting at 70 runs batted in. It's going to be hard to convince me that Braun's had a down year if he goes 25 and 90 or 25 and 100, whatever that's going to end up being. Davis, right field. Bautista can't get it. Off the wall. Ramirez is in, and Davis slides in with a double. Another double for the Brew Crew, number 7 of the night, and it's 5-1.
They're just barreling up these doubles that they're hitting. They just have that sound to it. You can only hear that sound again. I imagine we can get it somehow, but boy, you talk about barreling one up. That just had that crack of the bat sound. That means he got every bit of it. And just such good balance on at the end of that swing, level swing. And Chris Davis with double number 7. And drives in another run.
2 RBIs for Davis. He's got a walk, a sac fly, and a double. 32nd double of the season for Chris to go along with his 20 homers. Here's Ricky Weeks, nobody out, and a bouncing ball up the middle. That's going to get through. Here comes Davis. He'll score. And it's 6-1 Brewers. Well, it's not a double, but it's an RBI. And Ricky Weeks has one on the board.
Just as good if it drives in a run. And that looked like a breaking pitch from Redmond. I'll tell you, Jose Reyes wasn't moving very well going up the middle after that baseball. A slider, almost as if he gives up. And not really moving all that well. And run number 6 on the board for Milwaukee. And yet another 2-run inning.
Brewers got 2 in the first, added 2 in the third. 2 runs in here in the 5th. Nobody out. First 3 batters have reached. And here is Maldonado. Rasmus easing over in the gap, and he's got it for out number 1. The Brewers' record for doubles in a game is 9. That has happened on 5 occasions in franchise history, going back to 1970 in Milwaukee, 1969, the year they spent in Seattle to start the franchise. Last time there have been 9 doubles in a game, July of 08. Against the Pirates. So the Brewers are 2 away from that. Segura, right center. Rasmus has a play on this one. He'll make the catch for the out.
They're getting some good swings, aren't they? Even that pop-up from Maldonado was hit on the barrel, got under it. Segura drives that one out into the gap in right center. You just notice the direction a lot of these doubles have come for the Brewers, opposite field and into center field. Just putting some terrific swings on the baseball right now.
Mike Fiers takes a strike. He's got a hit tonight, getting into the act with the Brewer offense. His first hit of the season. Third pitcher of the night for the Blue Jays, Todd Redmond. And Fiers hits that one hard center field. And Rasmus is there to make the play. Well, against the Blue Jays tonight, the Toonies are wild. A bunch of twos on the board. The Brewers have 3 2-run innings on 7 two-base hits. It's a night of doubles, and it's 6-1 Milwaukee as we go to the 6th. (6-1). Another 2 runs in the 5th inning. We're on our way to the 6th. Carsoup.com trivia: how many games did Bill Schroeder miss due to injury in his career? We're not just asking that randomly. Rock just coming back from a finger injury, the broadcaster disabledness. The answer is 182 games. So more than a season.
So let me ask you this: who did you guys pick on when I was gone?
Well, that's the problem.
I mean, that's the thing about me being gone. Nobody to pick on.
I know, right? And we've been saving it up for a week.
I can't thank you guys enough for bringing that up.
That's good pay, man.
I mean,
that's
honestly,
okay.
Thanks.
You can thank Brian McLaughlin.
I know that wasn't you.
No, I would never do that to you, Rock.
It's all right.
So anyway, we just wanted to kind of bring it all full circle. Your broadcasting career, as far as health and injury goes, is much better than your playing career.
And there's a lot less physical, stress and strain. I got to be honest.
I don't know about that.
Well, when they got to the big leagues, the elbow wasn't 100% to start with.
Wasn't your fault. You were kind of damaged goods when you got here.
I was lucky to get 8 years in, believe me.
Yeah, you pieced it together with glue and gaffer's tape.
Yeah.
It's kind of not right, though.
That is kind of.
I feel bad. I'm on your side on this one.
You know what? That was weak.
That was a tired act from the Carsoup.com trivia department. Reyes. Oh, what a play by LUCROY. Wait a minute. That's Jonathan LUCROY at first base. What a play by Luke.
Yep.
The everyday catcher.
Step and a dive, and Jonathan LUCROY able to smother it. That was one heck of a play. Watch the way he angles back as this ball's by him. Keeps it in the wet and a good flip over to Fiers. Best athletes on the field.
Yeah.
I keep telling you.
I'm with you. The most likable people, best athletes, just the guys you want to be around.
And you know what?
Life.
He gets picked on a lot too.
Yes, he does.
So we have a lot in common.
I mean, he does have the nerd power. That's what they say. That's what he says anyway. By the way, that originated from a Ken Rosenthal piece at foxsports.com. Rosenthal wrote a piece on LUCROY, and he interviewed a lot of the players about LUCROY, and kind of the consensus of the Brewers clubhouse is that LUCROY is just a big old nerd, basically, in a loving way.
And
so,
the way he goes about his business, everybody should be a nerd, right?
Very studious. He, game planning, and as Cabrera slices that one foul.
Does a lot in the community. He's a great family man. He's got a great family, good teammate.
So LUCROY took it and ran. So the next night, after that article first appeared, I think he ended up homering or had a double, and he put the glasses up with his fingers. The upside down glasses. Nerd power. So that didn't come from us, by the way. It's Cabrera grounds out. Nice play by Ramirez. 2 up and 2 down, and Mike Fiers has retired 14 consecutive batters.
We got a picture in the back of the booth that showing a nerd back there. That was one of our crew bow tie games.
Yeah,
remember?
I do remember it well. Yep, it's one of my best pictures.
And you pulled it off nicely.
Well, that's me. That's kind of my,
right. You wear many hats.
Kind of my thing.
Or ties.
There's a ball to Bautista.
Did you guys pick on Counsell like this?
No.
You didn't, did you?
He's kind of a front office-y.
Yeah, you'd be in trouble.
Yeah, there's a little risk.
You feel pretty safe with me, huh?
Although Doug Melvin picked on Craig Counsell.
Did he?
Via text message.
Now that is a great picture of Brian Anderson. Speaking of nerd power. I love it.
Fly ball to right. And Braun's got it. Thank goodness.
So you
15 in a row.
A lot in common with Luke, too.
Mike Fiers. We're nerding up tonight on Brewers TV. And Mike Fiers is cutting them down. LUCROY with a great play. 6-1 Milwaukee.
Hey, join the Brewers for social media night at Miller Park Monday, September 8th, as the crew takes on the Marlins. Choose which player will make a special appearance at the pregame tweet-up and receive a T-shirt designed by that player. All for just $25. Reserve your spot at brewers.com/social media night.
Carlos Gomez on the first pitch, fouls it off.
A pregame tweet-up.
Tweet-up, right. Tweet-up.
See, you never know what you're going to learn when you come to the ballpark. I didn't know that was something that was...
Something at all.
That's kind of an event.
That's a thing. A tweet-up. Oh, 0-2 to Gomez. Good to see the Clements Famous Racing sausages in fine form tonight. They've had some time off. You know, they've had a little, had a week off, and good race today. Swapping some paint.
Nothing like it. You know, you go on the road and you see some of these mascot races.
Imposters.
You kind of feel bad for them, actually.
Redmond has Gomez 0-2. Oh, got in on his hand. Somehow fouled it off. 6-1 Milwaukee. Brewers have hit 7 doubles tonight, and Mike Fiers continues to impress. I mean, this is quite a story here. Brewers lose Matt Garza. Big piece of their rotation as Gomez strikes out. And Fiers comes in. Not only does he fill the spot, but he's dominating.
Yeah, he's dominating some pretty good offenses.
Here comes LUCROY. The Luke chants have been out all night tonight. At the plate, presented by Wendy's. A couple of doubles for LUCROY tonight, the league leader in that category. MVP chants are coming soon for Jonathan LUCROY. Can't argue with it.
No, you can't. I mean, he and Gomez. I mean, both of them.
LUCROY's batting average up to .305 with his 2 hits tonight. That's good enough for 6th in the league. .323 is the top batting average in the league. Justin Morneau of the Rockies. Tulowitzki's done for the year, so he has fallen off the league leaders category. Tulowitzki was hitting .340, by the way.
Just can't stay healthy, can he?
No.
Troy Tulowitzki.
So he's out. Paul Goldschmidt was leading the league in doubles. He and LUCROY were going back and forth. Goldschmidt is out for the season. LUCROY with 42 doubles. Jonathan's among league leaders in extra base hits as well. He has 57, 3rd in the league. Soon to be passing Paul Goldschmidt, who's 2nd, with actually tied for 1st still with Giancarlo Stanton. Stanton's having a huge year for the Marlins. 88 runs batted in. LUCROY to right, playable for Bautista. 2 outs in the inning. That'll bring up Ryan Braun. Had an RBI double in the 3rd inning. That was the 5th double for the Brewers tonight. Six runs on 9 hits. Redmond pitching in his 2nd inning. And Braun, little handle shot out to Bautista, and that will retire the side. So a 1-2-3 inning. Brewers go in order. 6-1 Milwaukee to the 7th we go. Mike Fiers is stealing some of the headlines here tonight. He has retired 15 consecutive Blue Jays. He's given up just 2 hits and 1 run. Has only 1 walk tonight and 6 Ks. What a performance tonight. You know, you think about his 4 strikeouts in the first 2 innings. So Ben Sheets struck out 18 batters in a 9-inning game. That's the Brewers record for 1 game, most strikeouts in a game. Fiers struck out 14 in his 6 innings against the Cubs and then had 4 strikeouts in his first 2 innings tonight. That's 18 strikeouts in 8 innings.
Right.
Consecutive. So just to give it some perspective of what Fiers has been able to do across his last 2 starts. 6 Ks through 6 innings tonight.
Brewers pitching has been unbelievable, you know, this season. I mean, there has been some, you know, bumps in the road. You know, there's been some rough stretches through the rotation from time to time, but I mean, for the most part, the reason this team is where it's at because of the starters. They've been terrific. They're second in the league in quality starts this year. Was it 83? And they have a nice stretch going right now.
And this is a starting rotation that is on pace for 1,000 innings this season, which is a stated goal by Rick Kranitz, the pitching coach. I was talking to Rick Kranitz after the game on Sunday a little bit. The Brewers have not had a starting rotation go 1,000 innings since 1993. 1,000 innings, essentially, you got 5 starters in your rotation. They all go 200. That's a milestone for every starting pitcher. Try to get to 200 innings. And Rick Kranitz said he told his rotation before the season started, if we get to 1,000 innings, we'll win the division. That's how strongly he feels about starters logging innings, going deep in games. And even when you have a DL situation, the guys who come up and replace a starter is expected to pick up innings. That one's lined into center field right at Gomez. Encarnacion is out.
All right, how about Encarnacion last 2 times up? A ball at the third base and now one into center. A lot of bugs out there in the field. You notice?
I did see that. They're all just kind of hanging around the face. Gene Segura's swatting them all. Got to keep your mouth closed on a night like this, Rock.
Yeah.
Look at him. If you have a high definition television, you see what we mean.
There aren't any up here.
Segura. Check out Encarnacion. Yeah. Bugs just, they annoy you so much more after you've lined out.
Right, twice.
Getting back to the Mike Fiers strikeout story as Navarro bats with 1 out. So Mike Fiers joins 3 other pitchers in franchise history with 14 Ks in a game with that start in Chicago. Ben Sheets, of course, had 18. Chad Moeller caught Ben Sheets in that 18 strikeout game. So the 3 pitchers in Brewers franchise history with 14 Ks in a game are represented by all of the catchers who caught those games here tonight. It's a good trivia question.
You're going to have to run that by me again.
All right.
This is my first day back.
We talked about the top strikeout performances in a game.
Right.
Okay.
I'm with you.
Now, Ben Sheets had 18. He's the record holder. Chad Moeller caught him.
Right.
The 3 guys that have 14 Ks in a game, they're all tied for second most in a game, are all represented by their catchers here tonight.
Okay.
Those who caught that particular game. Fires as Navarro sends one deep right. Braun is over, playable. He's got it for the out. 2 up and 2 down for Mike Fiers. 17 in a row he's retired. So Fiers had 14 strikeouts in a game. Maldonado was the catcher for Gallardo's 14 strikeout game. Jonathan Lucroy caught Fiers' 14 strikeout game. And the man in the dark, that is the silhouette of Buck Martinez. He caught Moose Haas's 14 strikeout game.
I got you now.
You with me?
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention in the beginning.
Did you say something wrong?
Yeah. So now that you said it the second time, you had my full attention, and that's good.
Don't you think that's kind of cool?
Too bad Chad Moeller was not in the stand somewhere.
That would be huge if Chad Moeller was here. We should have thought about that.
Chad Moeller hit for a cycle.
Yes, he did. But not the last catcher to hit for a cycle in Brewers franchise history.
That's right. George
Kataris. 0-2. Fires to Rasmus. He misses high. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Fires trying to make it 18 straight. And a bouncing ball foul to Lucroy. Pitch count for Fires at 105. Probably be his last inning. Zach Duke preparing to come in. 3rd start for Fires in the big leagues. He's got a chance to win his 3rd consecutive game. He's only given up at this point 2 earned runs.
And the 6th inning is the reason why he's still out there. 8 pitches.
The 1-2. Bouncing ball. Fires has it. And he'll go to the bag. And that is the inning for the Blue Jays. And that's 18 straight. Most likely to finish for Mike Fiers. And a standing ovation. Mike Fiers having another moment in the sun in the big leagues. He had one of these stretches in 2012, and it has come at a big time for the Brewers here. 3 starts, just 2 earned runs. He's probably done. A lot of handshakes in that dugout. Subway in-game box score. Not only does Fiers go 7 innings with just 1 run, but he also got his first hit of the year. Had a single. The Brewers have 6 runs on 9 hits. Look at all those doubles. 7 of them tonight for Milwaukee. Well, it got to be a satisfying feeling for Mike Fiers. Got a chance to win his 3rd straight start. 21 innings for Fiers so far. 8 hits allowed only, and just 2 runs. Bautista moves to center field. Rasmus is out. Nolan Reimold will take over in right. And the new pitcher, Rock, son of a big leaguer, Kyle Drabek, just called up from AAA, son of Doug Drabek.
Yeah, Doug Drabek had some nice years in the big leagues, mostly with the Pittsburgh Pirates. You see his 5th season, only 37 games in his career, first appearance this year.
Ramirez flies to right, and the new right fielder Reimold makes a catch for out number 1. Here's Chris Davis. He's had a good night. 2 RBIs. Had the 7th double of the night when he doubled in a run back in the 5th inning. Scored a run. 1 for 1. Sac fly, a walk, and an RBI double. Davis breaks his bat, but it's into left field. A base hit. The hits keep coming. That is number 10 of the night. Davis has 2 of them. And a 1-out single here in the 7th.
Hey, make sure you're here at Miller Park on Friday through Sunday as the Brewers take on division rival Pittsburgh with their sights set on a postseason berth. Reserve your seats today at Brewers.com or call 902-4000. All fan giveaways every day this weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Going to be a good one. The great crowds. Got the Pirates coming to town. Pirates lost tonight, by the way. Pittsburgh continues to slide. They are now just 3 games over 500. Actually, they're just 2 games over 500. 11-3 final. The Braves beat the Pirates. Pittsburgh has lost 7 in a row. And a Brewers win could send the Pirates 7 back in the division. St. Louis is trailing 4-2. The Reds have a lead over the Cardinals in the 6th inning. Reds are under 500. 3 games under, as a matter of fact. So if that score hangs on and this score hangs on, the Brewers would have a 3.5 game lead over the Cardinals in the division.
And you certainly hope the Pirates break that losing streak, because last thing you want to see is the Pirates coming in here with a long losing streak. You figure that's going to turn around at some point, right?
Yeah, break the losing streak, you're saying, and then put them on another one. That's
right,
kind of the plan.
Yeah. There's only one way to go with a long losing streak, right? Up.
Ricky Weeks and ties him up with a fastball, does Drabek. It's 2-2. Washington beat Arizona tonight. Steven Strasburg won his 10th. The Nationals will remain as the National League's best record. They won their 8th consecutive game tonight. 71 wins, 53 losses. Brewers can win their 71st tonight, but 55 losses. A swing and a miss. Weeks is down on strikes. 2 outs. Here's Martin Maldonado. Hard to believe they're in a rain delay at Wrigley. It's beautiful here in Milwaukee. Tarp is on at Wrigley Field. They're in the 5th inning, delayed by rain. Cubs lead 2-0 over the Giants.
Well, at least there's a lot of places to stay dry at Wrigley.
Right. Hang out. Yeah, comfortable. Lots of room in the clubhouse. And just stretch your legs. Same in the booth. I thought Davey was going to fall out of the Wrigley Field booth on more than one occasion.
Yeah.
Filling in for you.
Yeah, why was that?
There was a lot of up and down. Not an easy place to maneuver around, if you know what I mean.
No, once you're down in that booth there, you stay.
Usually don't leave. Unless Bob Uecker comes over. Anyway, here we go to the 8th inning. 6-1 Milwaukee. Zach Duke coming in. Two in the first, 2 in the third, 2 in the 5th. 6-1 Milwaukee, and Mike Fiers was outstanding once again. Sets us up for tomorrow. Our Miller Lite What's on Tap. Don't forget, we're on the air 12:30 for Brewers Live right here on Fox Sports Wisconsin. And 2 pitchers who could not be further apart in style. The knuckleballer R.A. Dickey and the power sinker young right-hander Jimmy Nelson. It's our Miller Lite What's on Tap.
Brewers get to attack the knuckleballer, and that's never an easy task. Not for the hitter, not for the catcher who gets to catch him tomorrow. And as Zach Duke takes over for the 57th time, a 4-0 record and a nifty 1.90 earned run average, 60 strikeouts in 47 1/3 innings. And with all the left-handed hitters coming up, you got Francisco Kawasaki, both left-handed, and then a pinch hitter.
It looks like Danny Valencia is going to pinch hit to start this inning. So Francisco is out. Valencia, the former Twin, will bat here in the 8th. Zach Duke will try to keep this string alive here. Fiers finished his night retiring 18 consecutive batters. Gave up just 2 hits, 1 run, had 1 walk and 6 Ks. And there's a strike.
And what more can you say about Mike Fiers? He continues to pass all the tests. You come in here and you figure you get a guy throwing a pretty straight fastball against a very powerful lineup. You wonder how he's going to make out. And just continues to throw well. Only 2 runs in 21 innings in his 3 starts. Wow.
And if you talk to Mike Fiers, he says, I'm just doing what I did in AAA, and he's pretty much right. Doing just that at the AAA level. Fiers had a strikeout to walk ratio a little over 7-1 in the minor leagues this year in AAA. So he has 25 strikeouts in his 3 big league starts, 25 strikeouts and only 3 walks. A little over 7-1. Duke dips down sidearm. 2-2. The Brewers starting pitchers have gone at least 6 innings in 11 of their last 12 games. The only blemish in there was Kyle Lohse when he was injured, had to leave the game with an ankle injury at Wrigley. Slow roller, going to be a tough play. Ramirez bare hands, throws, and it's in time.
Goodness.
What a terrific play by Aramis Ramirez.
He makes that as well as any third baseman in baseball. I mean, off the bat, that looked like it might have been a base hit. Valencia gets down the line pretty well. Little nubber in front of Ramirez. He's able to make that bare hand pickup and get him by half a step. That's a dandy. All in one motion, picks it and makes the throw.
Steve Tollefson will pinch hit for Kawasaki. Brewers coming off a sweep of the Dodgers. They won the final game at Wrigley Field to wrap up that series, looking for their 5th consecutive win.
Well, the offense has been good, but it doesn't mean a whole lot if you don't get the pitching that the Brewers have been able to get lately.
There's a shot that is foul, not by much, just missed the bag. Tollefson had a chance at extra base hits briefly.
He's thinking that baseball went over the bag and then went into foul territory beyond the bag, which would have been a base hit, not reviewable. Plays in front of the umpire.
Satisfied crowd here at Miller Park tonight. Brewers jumped on the Blue Jays early with 2, and they've kept the hammer down. Got great pitching tonight. Just 2 hits allowed to the Blue Jays from the Brewers pitching staff. Mostly fires. Zach Duke in his first inning. Looking for win number 5 in a row. Brewers have only had one stretch of more than 5 straight wins. That was when they won 9 in a row in April. The first 6 of those came on the road, remember? Boston and Philly.
Yeah.
There's a shot, and oh, look at Segura. Spins, throws, in time. Gene Segura. Put a star by that one. That was a beauty.
Oh,
2 excellent plays in this inning by the left side of the infield.
Well, there's been 3 very nice defensive plays in the last 3 innings. Remember Lucroy's play on Reyes. Look at that short hop. You know, picking it, that ball was by him and spins around and makes a good throw to first base. Always on balance, always able to get something behind his throws.
Outstanding play by Segura, and he's racking up a whole highlight reel full of plays like that. He's had a down year with the bat, but he has had an up year with the glove.
Hasn't affected his defense a bit.
Nolan Reimold batting for the first time. Came in on the double switch last inning. Past Duke right at Ricky Weeks. Everybody gets to play in the infield. And Zach Duke, a 1-2-3-8. 6-1 Milwaukee, bottom of the 8th, coming your way.
kind of game been all season? Seems like a breeze here tonight as the Brewers a 6-1 lead as we get ready for the bottom of the 8th inning here against Toronto. Davey, it's all about Mike Fiers. He was the storyline, the headliner going into this game for what he's done in his first 2 starts. Now make it 3 in a row with tonight's performance.
Well, you know, he just keeps rolling along. Has great command. He's able to spot his fastball and then throw that breaking ball. You know, his fastball has a little life on it, but he's thrown some very good off-speed pitches, and he's pitched ahead in the count.
18 in a row retired by Fiers throughout the course of this game before he closes out with this final out in the 7th inning. We'll talk plenty more about Mike Fiers, get inside the clubhouse, and plenty more coming up. Brewers Live post game after the game, Brian.
All right, thanks a lot, Craig and Davey. Duke keeps the streak alive. 21 in a row retired by the Brewers. Fiers to Duke. And Drabek back on the mound to pitch the bottom of the 8th. 6-1 Brewers on 10 hits. Tollison stays in to play second. And Danny Valencia takes over at third base. Segura leads off after a terrific play last inning. Scatters the dugout. Carlos Gomez pouncing over there. Everybody taking cover. Segura looking for his first hit of the night. He's 0 for 3. And down he goes. Drabek with a good breaking ball strikes him out.
He's got a good one. He got Ricky on one in the dirt. So he's got a pretty good late breaking slider. Check it out. It's actually a curveball slider type pitch, but that one on the outer half, and Segura out in front.
Gerardo Parra will bat for the first time. He's kind of quietly going about his business. He's glad to be in Milwaukee. Has had some big moments for the Brewers. Had a decisive home run against the Giants on the last homestand. Drove in a couple of big runs. He's been getting into games late if the Brewers have the lead, shoring up the defense. The kind of player that could come up big when the heat is on.
Yeah, he's been there, done that. He's been in the postseason. And there's no replacing that.
Two-time Gold Glove winner with the Diamondbacks. Parra is under contract for next season as well. Brewers gave up 2 minor league prospects for Parra. And a little half swing, he goes. Back-to-back strikeouts, and Drabek has that breaking ball going tonight. Has 3 Ks already on that pitch. Hey, a reminder to join Fox Sports Wisconsin for the 3rd annual Brewers Mini Marathon and 10K. That's on Saturday, September 20th. It begins and ends at Miller Park. The course goes past many Milwaukee landmarks. Runners receive a race shirt, a medal, Brewers ticket voucher, and can celebrate at a post-race tailgate party. For details, visit foxsportswisconsin.com. Click on the More tab. Gomez on the first pitch, in the air, shallow left. Reyes wants it, and that will retire the side, and that might do it for the Brewers offensively. They are 3 outs away from their 5th consecutive win. What a night tonight for the Brew Crew. 7 doubles, scoring 6 runs on 10 hits. A double away from the season high in Major League Baseball this year. A couple more changes here as we go to the 9th. Last call for the Blue Jays. Reynolds will take over at first base. In there for LUCROY. Did a nice job tonight. And Rock on the mound. It's Brandon Kinsler, and he's trying to keep the streak alive. The Brewers have retired 21 consecutive Blue Jays.
Yeah, he's been pretty good. His last 12 appearances, he's only given up 2 earned runs. That covers 10 2/3 innings. He was the pitcher of record on Friday in that big comeback from Milwaukee against the Dodgers. 47th appearance for Brandon. And you're right, the Brewers have not allowed a base runner since a 2nd inning double by Colby Rasmus. And that's been it.
2 hits tonight for the Blue Jays. They came back to back, Navarro and Rasmus. Navarro scored the only run off Fires. Fires a chance to go to 3-0, an ERA of 1.29 in his 3 big league starts. The Brewers continue this incredible run from their starting pitching. 27 games now. 23 quality starts, so that's 6 innings or more and 3 earned runs or fewer. And in the 27 games, the Brewers starters have a 2.36 ERA. That is getting the job done.
And that's how you win games. I mean, that's the long and the short of it right there. I mean, that starting rotation, there's been 7 of them this year, and they've all done a good job.
Peralta sitting at the top of the National League in wins. Jimmy Nelson gets the ball tomorrow for the Brewers. Gallardo was great against the Dodgers. Garza's hoping to come back soon. Reyes out to Gomez. And that's 22 straight retired. Boy, this is something tonight. All in front of a sellout crowd as well. On Ron Renick's birthday. You want to give a manager a good birthday present? Let him take the heat off a little bit.
Yeah,
Not
nice,
grinding the gears so much.
A nice, clean, relaxing victory. And of course, the Brewers are 2 outs away from that. I'm not saying that's happened quite yet, but it would be nice.
I think every big league game comes with its stresses, right, from a manager, but this is about, in its context, about as easy as you can have one tonight, at least thus far. Reds still lead the Cardinals 4-3. That game's in the bottom of the 7th now. Cincinnati trying to hang on and beat the Redbirds. That would give the Brewers a 3.5 game lead in the division with 36 to play. Out to Weeks. Took a bad hop. Ricky recovers, makes the play. 23 straight set down. And the Blue Jays down to their last hitter. Well, we could go a lot of directions tonight. Early offense. Power hitting. The Brewers go for 7 doubles tonight. 10 hits. They score 6 runs. Stellar defense. Made all the routine plays and made a number of great plays tonight. And then the pitching.
But that's where momentum starts, and that's what your starting pitcher each and every night. It doesn't carry over very often. It's all about that guy on the mound in the first inning.
And a ground ball with a shift on. Ricky Weeks, and he'll make the play, and the Brewers win. And the Brewer pitching staff shuts down the Blue Jays, retiring the final 24 batters in a row. Makes a winner out of Mike Fiers. 3-1. 3 straight wins as a starter and a 1.29 ERA. 7 doubles tonight, including 2 from Aramis Ramirez and 2 from Jonathan Lucroy. And the Brewers join the Nationals with 71 wins, second best record in the National League. And now we'll watch the Reds and the Cardinals tonight to see if the Brewers will go up 3.5 games. 6-1 the final. We check in with Craig Kashawn. He's standing by for Brewers Live. Go ahead, Craig.
Boy, what a spectacular pitching performance. Started by Mike Fiers and then picked up by the bullpen the rest of the way. Team streak when it comes to retired batters. We'll talk more about that in the Man on Fire when we come back.